Have you ever looked at a successful person? The one who seems completely unshakable in a crisis, who makes high-stakes decisions with brutal clarity, and who carries a quiet, magnetic power and thought. What is their secret? They're not smarter than you. They're not luckier. They are, however, operating on a different set of rules. Rules that are over 2 millennia old. They are the rules of a Stoic philosopher king, Marcus Aurelius. But this isn't just theory. This is the ruthless, life-altering wisdom that separates the passive dreamer from the dominant force. And one of these lessons, which I'll reveal near the end, has the power to fundamentally rewrite your self-worth and drastically change your love life forever. Trust me, you cannot afford to skip that part. Before we dive into the deep end of becoming dangerously smart, do me a quick favor, smash that like button right now. It helps this ancient wisdom reach more people who need it. And if you're ready to stop just reacting to life and start designing it, hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. Let's unlock your power. The story, the emperor and the clerk. Visual, a cinematic transition to a dimly lit, high-ceilinged library. The host is now visible, standing, speaking directly to the camera or walking slightly. To truly understand this wisdom, we need to forget the marble statues and the dusty books. We need to meet Marcus Aurelius not as an emperor, but as a man struggling to survive an empire-wide plague, constant military threats, and the devastating loss of his children. He wrote his meditations not for us, but for himself, a private journal to keep his mind from collapsing under impossible stress. It was during one of his darkest periods that he penned the framework for what I call the 8 ruthless lessons that make you dangerously smart. Our modern story begins with a man named Alex. Alex was a brilliant but frustrated middle manager. He was the kind of person who always felt under his life, constantly worried about what his boss thought, what his partner might say, and what awful thing the news would report next. His anxiety was a constant low-grade fever. He stumbled upon Aurelius one day, not looking for philosophy, but for an escape. What he found wasn't comfort, but a sword. Let's look at the first set of lessons that shattered Alex's old reality. The first 4, forging the unbreakable mind. Lesson 1, the ruthless clarity of the objective view. Visual, a graphic appears with the phrase, 1, the objective view. Alex was obsessing over a mistake he'd made in a major presentation. He saw it as a career-ending disaster, a personal failing. Aurelius would have dismissed this anxiety with a single, surgical question. Strip it down. He says, is it just a little churning in the stomach? A temporary shortness of breath? Then, what is it that makes this intolerable? This is the objective view. It teaches us to ruthlessly strip away the story we tell ourselves about an event and see only the raw facts. When Alex applied this, he stopped saying, I ruined the presentation, and now everyone thinks I'm incompetent. He started saying, I misspoke a number. The client asked for a correction. I corrected it. End of transaction. The smart move. Anxiety thrives in narrative. Clarity demands clinical fact. When you face a problem, describe it to yourself as if you were a non-emotional alien observer. The fear instantly shrinks. Lesson 2. The Stoic superpower of the inner citadel. Visual, graphic. 2. The inner citadel. Alex lived his life reacting to external stimuli. A nasty email, a traffic jam, a canceled dinner. He was a boat tossed by every little wave. Aurelius defined his inner citadel, the only place in the universe, where he was the absolute ruler. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This is the power of radical ownership. Everything outside your mind, the market, the weather, other people's opinions, their actions is not yours. It is indifferent. Everything inside your mind, your judgments, your intentions, your responses, is absolutely yours. The smart move. When someone insults you, they are not insulting you. They are performing an action based on their flawed judgment. You have the power to simply not accept their delivery. You choose your response. Your peace is non-negotiable and internally controlled. Lesson 3. The brutal efficiency of preferred indifference. Visual, graphic. 3. Preferred indifference. For years, Alex confused things that were good, like virtue, integrity, wisdom, with things that were preferred, like health, wealth, comfort. Aurelius teaches that wealth and health are preferred indifference. They are nice to have, they make life easier, but they do not determine whether you are a good, whole, or valuable person. Poverty is a preferred indifferent. Death is a preferred indifferent. They are not inherently evil. They simply make living harder. The smart move. We treat financial loss like a moral failure. The dangerously smart Stoic sees it as an inconvenience. Their moral character, their true good, remains perfectly intact. This shift releases the crippling fear of failure, because failure is now just an indifferent event, not a destruction of the self. Lesson 4. The strategic acceptance of the universal law. Visual, graphic 4, the universal law. This is where Stoicism gets cold. Alex was constantly wishing things were different. I wish I hadn't lost that client. I wish I were younger. I wish the world wasn't so unfair. Aurelius reminds us, whatever happens to you was prepared for you from all eternity. And the concurrence of causes was intertwining from all time. This is not passive resignation. It is strategic acceptance. The dangerously smart person understands that wishing an event didn't happen is an act of delusion. The event has happened. The past is an immovable, unchangeable reality. The smart move. Stop wasting mental energy fighting the reality of the past or the present. The only place you have power is in the next logical, rational action. Accept the reality of the situation first. Then focus your 100% effort on the solution. The story continues. Alex's transformation. Visual, host looks energized, pacing slightly. These first 4 lessons didn't make Alex happy. They made him stable. His colleagues noticed it immediately. Where he used to panic, he now paused. Where he used to blame, he now simply fixed. His anxiety evaporated, replaced by a quiet, focused intensity. But he was still missing the spark, the magnetism, the power that moves people and moves life. That came from the final 4 lessons. These are the ones that are truly ruthless and that will define your relationships. The final 4. The lessons of dangerous influence. Lesson 5. The ruthless pruning of the vain effort. Visual, graphic 5. The vain effort. Aurelius was the most powerful man in the world, yet he was constantly aware of his own mortality and the limited time he had. He asks us to brutally audit our efforts. A person who does not know what the universe is does not know who he is. A person who does not know what the universe is for does not know what he himself is for. This is the ruthless pruning of the vain effort. We spend precious time arguing online, seeking validation from strangers, gossiping, watching endless low-value entertainment, and complaining. These efforts are vain because they do not align with our highest purpose. The smart move. Every night, ask yourself, did I spend my limited time on an activity that serves my highest function, or did I waste it on an indifferent distraction? The dangerously smart Stoic says, no to nearly everything that doesn't move them toward their goal. They are masters of their attention. Lesson 6. The wisdom of the other half's life. Visual, graphic 6. The other half's life. This lesson is the shield against betrayal and disappointment, a core principle of maintaining personal equilibrium in a complex world. Aurelius observed, how much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? The dangerously smart Stoic operates with the understanding that every person is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Their cruelty is often a projection of their own pain. Their negligence is almost never about you. The smart move. When someone acts poorly, stop personalizing it. Step back and consider the other half's life. Assume their rude email, their poor driving, or their betrayal is a reflection of their own stress, their own trauma, or their own lack of wisdom. This is not forgiveness. It is a self-protective technique. You prevent their poison from entering your inner citadel. Lesson 2. Lesson 7. The unflinching power of premeditation of evils. Premeditatio malorum. Visual, graphic 7. Premeditation of evils. This is the most powerful technique for becoming unshakable. It's a ruthless mental exercise. Aurelius says, in the morning when you rise unwillingly, let this thought be present. I am rising to the work of a human being. Why then am I dissatisfied if I am going to do the things for which I exist? But the deeper application is to premeditate evils. Before you go into a major meeting, a first date, or a high-stakes negotiation, you don't visualize success. You visualize failure. Visualize the deal falling through. Visualize the partner walking away. Visualize being publicly criticized. The smart move. When you mentally rehearse the worst-case scenario, two things happen. First, the actual event is never as bad as the rehearsal, instantly calming you. Second, you have already strategized your response to the failure, making you immediately effective when it happens. You become a person who is mentally prepared for everything, and therefore afraid of nothing. Lesson 8. The Love Life Rule. The Amor Fati, Love of Fate. Visual, a powerful slow-motion shot of a person overcoming an obstacle, followed by a romantic, affirming visual. This is the lesson that separates those who merely tolerate life from those who dominate it, and it will fundamentally change the way you approach your love life, your self-worth, and your future. It is Amor Fati, the love of fate. Aurelius distilled it beautifully. Accept the things to which you are bound. What more do you want? But the full, brutal translation is, don't just endure what happens to you. Love it. Will it to have happened? Alex's breakthrough came when he applied this to his greatest fear: rejection. He had been rejected by his dream partner and saw it as a catastrophic loss, a judgment on his self-worth. The Stoic reframe is, the rejection was not an obstacle. It was the necessary path. Love the rejection because it saved you 5 years with a person who wasn't right for your true path. Love the financial loss because it forced you to innovate and build a more resilient business. Love the criticism because it revealed a blind spot you needed to fix. The love life context. When you operate from a place of amor fati, you stop chasing external validation. You stop fearing loss. You love the life you have, imperfections and all. You become a person who is complete on their own, and that is the most dangerously smart and magnetic energy you can ever possess. You become a choice, not a necessity. You stop asking people to complete you and start inviting them to join you. This is the essence of becoming a truly smart Stoic. It is not about being emotionless, but about being emotionally bulletproof. Conclusion. Visual. The host is back, center frame, confident, and serious. The 10 suggestions from Marcus Aurelius for becoming dangerously smart boil down to these 8 ruthless lessons. They don't promise you a life without pain. They promise you something far more valuable. A life where you are the master of your mind, and therefore the master of your destiny. If you're ready to start applying these lessons today, let me know in the comments which of the 8 lessons resonated with you the most. Was it the ruthless pruning of vain effort, or the magnetic power of amor fati? I read every single one. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.